Alright, this is a more complicated build. I'm going to try to get through it relatively quickly. If you notice, my stats are not what you'd expect on a swordsman. I'll explain that as the skills come up. So, swordsman 1 and 2, basically, you're just going to grab your buffs. The damage from these skills is so low that you're just going to get more damage from getting your buffs with less of an SP requirement, which allows you to go more offensive early on. Hoplite. Fenestra is the main reason I'm picking up Hoplite. Stabbing is a good skill. Pierce is an okay skill. Fenestra adds this 10% int scaling to all of your weapon types. So it's just a weapon type buff rather than a buff to the actual buff. You don't need to have Fenestra up at all for this, it just goes into your passives. It also converts concentration from additional damage to additional attack. And that's huge for many reasons. It also applies the damage in an amped up form for the first 4 hits of combat. It's technically the first hit of combat plus additional hits for every 5 levels of Fenestra. This is only if you have Fenestra learned with the int perk active. If for any reason you want to turn it off. Shinobi was my last class. I just got it for the clones. The clones are not updated yet, so they're very weak at end game. Early game, they're pretty noticeable. Late game, they basically don't even exist. This skill also has not got its updates from the test server. It takes all of your HP in the test server and does a big hit of damage, leaving you with 1 HP. If you have clones up, they also explode and they just despawn. Your gym clone will not despawn, so be aware of that. Your gym clone will be left with 1 HP. If it dies, you will die. So, kind of don't use that skill if you have the gym clone up unless you're going to kill whatever you're fighting, it's a boss or something, and there'll be nothing left to kill the clone. Because it cannot be healed from any heal tiles or anything. Only a few sources of healing actually apply to the clones. Now, obviously, I'm built for evasion, as you can see. I have 95%, which is max. I have much more than that, but I'm capped at 95%. The other reason why I have so much int is I'm always in my unarmed stance. Like, I never leave this stance. It's a passive, you activate it, it just stays on forever. It'll stay on through map changes, and while I'm in my unarmed stance, I scale on from the Nak itself, I scale on int, and then I get the extra 10% from Hoplite, and it makes int a little bit better than Con, Dex, and Strength, which I also scale on. Each of the scalings is much lower to balance out the fact that you have that many scalings, but it allows you to build in so many different ways. You don't really have any stat limitations if you're using this skill. Like, at all. You have no stat limitations. You can build whatever stat you want, and you can use this to allow you to use whatever weapon type you want, while still having that stat. Because even though I'm technically unarmed, I still count as wielding whatever weapon I have. That's why I can use my rapier skills. So it's just a nice option if you want to like try to do an off build. Part of the reason why I will probably always have Nak in my build, because it doesn't matter what I'm playing, it just frees up my stats for whatever the hell I want to do. I can be a Dex greatsword user and be evasion greatswording, and it's just nice. It's good. I highly recommend it. Now, while you're going Nak, you're also going to get access to the combo system they have. You need one of all their skills to be able to do that. The combo system is very strong, but also a little finicky. Like, when you can use it, it's amazing. Sometimes, like, if a mob blocks one of your attacks, it won't count as a hit, so it'll break your combo. Fencer, everything is good. This is the only thing that I would say isn't particularly good. Everything else is good. If you put levels in it, it will be good. I went with this. I like the animation on this. The attack the actual hits on it got changed to where they actually match up with the animation, so there's additional hits beyond the 5, which already makes it pretty strong. Though with its animation time, again, everything has a place. If you're going for pure DPS, this isn't going to be it, but it also does have the evasion bonus. Just while I'm in my normal gear, I have much less evasion, so my full set reduces my evasion, allows me to evade all types of damage. Normally you can only evade melee. So I explained this in the bullet maker video. It's the same issue. I'm going to lose so much evasion that I need any source of evasion I can get for my skills. So that's the main reason why I ended up going with this one. This is another option, I just didn't like the animation in this one. But yeah, everything in here is good. I will just showcase that now. Apparently I can change my name, I didn't know you could do that. Apparently I'm also still sitting down, I think. There's just a server desync there that removed all my animations. I'm not gonna bother trying to show on those because they're very bulky to physical, and I do not have any source of penetration to get around that on this character. So other than just using extremely powerful things like this, or this, and I only get 4 hits of that, it's going to look really bad if I'm showing the damage on those enemies. Whereas this is more what you're going to expect. So I mean, I'm not maxed out, like, I'm nowhere near min-max on damage, and this is 100 levels under me, but it is a party zone. These are some of the strongest enemies in the game right now, other than, bosses. I can just shred straight through them. Now, one of the things is these enemies can't really hit me all that well, especially if I'm not equipping my other piece of gear, which it also does boost my damage, so, I mean, why not? If I start losing HP, I'll get a lot weaker pretty quickly. And if I go below 40%, I will become very weak because I will lose concentration altogether. So just be aware of that if you're playing a Half-Life build. But yeah, that's the Fletcher skills. Technically this is the Half-Life skill, but it's just that good that it still holds up even at Fletcher tier. It's still very good to use. The best skill for DPS is going to be this skill for sure. It's going to have its cooldown removed, its SP recovery, not SP, its SP cost is going to increase, similar to these ones. And it's just going to be the highest DPS option, but again, even then, the evasion bonus from this skill, you're going to weave the 2 of them, most likely. Or you're going to get lunge and weave those 2, but up to the player. This skill's over here because it's a debuff. It's not good damage, like at all. It's strike type damage, wrong type for the class. But, I mean, it's nice to have strike type damage in the class, but since I have Nak, I already have better strike skills. The Pierce bonus does not work, or it does not work the way it's supposed to. It currently does not ignore enemy defense. I tested on these mobs over here. When it does get fixed, this is going to be a very important skill for bossing and whatnot. You're just going to use it for the debuff every once in a while. Oh yeah, this skill and this skill, they're not very good. Like, you can use them, they are vastly inferior to any other. It doesn't matter what class build you're going, they're not good. I think they get buffed up for clones, so they're a little better, but if you're just using the skill to use it, even when it gets its cooldown removed, it's still not going to be very good. I don't know if it's going to get buffed. I know this one is buffed, but not in the live server. So now the Nak skills. This is where things actually get complicated. So, first skill is very simple. I don't know why it didn't go off, but there it goes. So, that's the first combo, pretty straightforward. It's not super strong, but it does add a 50% increased damage taken from strike damage, so if you just weave that into your normal attacks while using Muay Thai, which, when you're using Muay, you actually gain... you basically have no cooldowns. You reduce your cooldowns with every attack, and if you weave 2 skills, you'll basically have 0 cooldowns. Now, the next combo is, again, pretty straightforward. You just go 1 more skill over. And, again, it didn't trigger again. I don't know why that is. Like I said, they're a little finicky right now. They'll probably be polished up, but... there it goes. So that shoulder bash, it knocks enemies back, does a decent hit of damage, and it is part of the final skill, which is actually the good combo if you're going for damage. The other 2 are not bad, they do good damage, but this is where you're actually going to get your big damage. I want to be clear, for a single circle class, this is the strongest class in the game. For 1 circle. But once you start going into classes with multiple circles, especially at the higher tier, it falls off. So the final combo is a long one, but it is very strong when you actually use it. I got shoved out of it. I'd like one of these guys, so I don't have to deal with them possibly using that stupid little barrier thing. I need something strong enough to actually finish the combo on it, but I also need it to not interrupt me while I'm doing the combo. Okay. Here we go. Let's go. Use your barrier. I know you want to. Alright, I'm just gonna try my luck. Okay. That is the full combo. I use concentration and preparation if you didn't notice. It allows you to get a ridiculous hit of damage, 180 million damage. I've seen it go as high as 280 million damage. It's not that easy to pull off in actual content, especially if you're trying to weave the full combo with concentration and everything, and you can obviously only do that when concentration is up. But when you do, it's plenty strong. Normally, it's still pretty good, 20 million damage on an enemy that's very bulky. And it's not that hard to pull off, it's just that obviously I haven't really used these combos all that much because they were added after I moved on to Fencer 2 and 3. I'm not even sure which one it was, but I was at a point where Fencer was doing enough damage that I didn't need to use the combos anymore. But it feels good when you actually, get it down. It can easily be interrupted. It's so strong that I kind of feel like the fact that it's a little bit finicky and it can sometimes just not go off is actually reasonable considering how much power you can get out of it. But, that is with a build designed around pierce damage, and it is pierce damage, so keep that in mind as well. It's still going to be very strong, but maybe not that strong for you. And that's pretty much it. There's going to be more combos, allegedly. We don't know when that's going to happen, but It definitely feels good to use it. I'll probably enjoy it a lot more when I don't have, you know, all these skills on the side that basically, when buffed, are just as good without the effort. You know, just a higher class is going to be better than a lower class. Unless I pick classes that would buff it more, which I don't even know if there's any other classes I could do that with. I think that's pretty much the peak for the Nak as is. If they get more combos that have different damage types and can scale better with other classes, maybe there'll be more options. For now, I think this is kind of the best setup to maximize that final hit of the combo, and I don't know, it's just, it feels good, but just being able to dash around with this and use my other attacks in between, basically avoid most of the damage that they would have hit, and then the damage that they do hit, I actually evade it. So, stopping to actually stand still and do combos, even if it's rewarding, it's been power crept. Now in the live server, you're going to be spending a lot longer in Nak, because to get Fencer 3, you have to go to 8. And then even then, if you really want to go the best rapier user, I think the... whatever that thing is called, the Matador. Yeah, the Matador is going to be the best option. And that's a rank 10 class. So picking Fencer is actually kind of handicapping yourself unless you're going to do something like this. So keep that in mind. Now if the Nak gets these additional combos later on, again, we haven't really heard anything from that even within the test server. So we'll see. For now, the Nak is done. It might be looked at again later on. It's a single circle class. It's performing on par with a 3-circle class. It just requires more effort to actually get there. But that should do it. I might do one more video from the actual test server, just to cover my cleric. Though it'll depend on if I feel like there's anything really to show. My cleric is kind of in a place where like it's more of a meme setup than anything. And I have a bunch of videos I need to edit together to showcase some of the other buffers and stuff. And that's already going to be a bunch of cleric stuff. Maybe I'll put that in there and just showcase a DPS cleric as well as a support cleric. But that should be it. For now, later.